Yeah, there's a lot of good standout performances from this one. But if I look at it in the critical eye, it just was unhappy with the inconsistency of our defense, and we've just got to improve, and we've got to get a lot better in that. And as we now move forward to the rest of our schedule, and really tough team on Saturday, and then into the ACC, we're just not where I want to be yet, and so that's really what weighs on my mind right now. In spite of that, I thought we had some standout performances. Donovan with 11 rebounds was good. She's capable, can get to that double-figure rebounding mark. I think she can get to that every game, so I'd like to see that from her every game. I thought Okananwa really total floor game tonight, not just the scoring, but and the rebounding, which she normally does, but the 5 assists, 0 turnovers for her. She's worked a ton on her playmaking and taking care of the ball, and she's worked a ton. For the last 6 months, she's really, really worked hard to become better in that area. So it's nice to see the work pay off for her. The rebounds and steals is something she always does. You kind of can take it for granted because of her effort level. I don't take it for granted, but those numbers show up regularly for her. Fournier continues to be a force off the bench for us, highly efficient, someone we can throw it to in the post, which we haven't had in my tenure here, like a go-to player on the interior, and she gives us that. And Thomas has strung together like 3-4 weeks of really solid basketball for us. And then, probably the stat I'm most proud of coming out of this game is Richardson's 10 assists, 1 turnover. So last 2 games, Richardson's had 17 assists. And I'm so proud of it because a couple years ago, sophomore and junior, not even just a couple years, last year, if Richardson had gone 3 for 12 in a game, she would have been frustrated and thought that the game was bad and that maybe not been able to emotionally come out of it during. And now she's just so much emotionally more mature, and she understands how they're playing her. Teams are taking her shots away from her, and as they should. She's a great offensive weapon, and she is making the right play. She's coming off of screens, and they're helping, or they're switching, or they're doubling, and she's boom to the next person, boom to the next person. And I love that about her. I mean, you think about that like a top scorer that could come into a game and have 10 assists, you guys. I mean, that's rare. She's not a point guard. So she's seeing the game at a better level than she ever has before. Her consistency defensively. I'm almost as proud of this game than, I am of the 35-point game against Oklahoma, because it shows her evolution, and it shows that she's becoming a player that can impact winning no matter if she's scoring or not. And, I love that about her growth.
I want to ask you about Toby. Freshmen sometimes show a flash, and then the next game maybe it's kind of up and down. But, that's 2 games in a row now of at least the first half offensively really got going. How does that process with her of sort of getting a freshman to be, building consistency as you're going along of their first run through college basketball?
I think she is one of the more consistent producers that I've ever coached. If Toby plays, she's going to score. I mean, it's been every game this year, if you think about it. I don't know if she's been in double figures every game, probably not, but like pretty close. And the only times that she's been more limited in her production have been foul trouble. And so when she plays minutes, she scores. She might be close to a point a minute. I don't know of how many minutes she's played this year and how many points she scored, but that'd be interesting to see, like if she scores a point a minute. But we are still searching for consistency, even though she's been scoring consistently. We are still teaching. We're still trying to get her more attention to detail in our schemes on the offensive end, the defensive end. So while I'm thrilled with how she's producing, there's still, with every freshman, there's a lot of work and a lot of growth that still needs to happen. And so she is competitive. She is obviously very talented and skilled, and she is somebody we can play through. And as I said in my opening statement, haven't had that at Duke yet. A player we could throw it to on the block that can score 20 every night. And so that's new for our offense. I think it's the presence and the finishing ability, not just of Fournier, but also of Thomas and also of Wood. has really stabilized our offense and made us more efficient because we're not so reliant. Like tonight, we went 6 for 23 from 3, but we still had 93 points. Why is that? Because we have the paint option now, and I think that will evolve. She's starting to see more double teams, and so that's newer for her here. She got double teamed a lot, at the high school level and the club level. But so now, what does that open up? And that will be kind of a little bit like the Richardson evolution. Like now she might score a little bit less because they're double teaming, but does that give other players more open shots? Does that give her more assists? And that's how basketball works, right? Like they're going to try to take certain stuff away. So we're working on that with her, but she's definitely very gifted in scoring the ball.
Coach, I did want to kind of touch on the bench points and the second chance points. Wofford coach definitely mentioned that you all did utilize pounding the paint, I believe, almost every offensive possession, whether it was a fast break point or not. Somebody on the interior got at least one touch inside the paint without, jacking up a shot. But also, second chance points, 18 to zip. Bench points, 53 to 14. Just what's your assessment on just your team display from the bench and the depth tonight?
They've been a force for us all year long. We have the 6th player of the year in the ACC coming off our bench. I mean, what a luxury that is. And she's a sophomore now. And so now she's got more experience, more skills. And then, obviously Fournier has been an incredible force for us off the bench as well. Wood has been great for us. DeJesus and Cable are capable players. They're veteran players, and they're going to make important contributions for us as the season goes along. They already have, but they're going to as the season goes along. So we just feel like we're a deep team, and we have a lot of weapons, and trying to utilize those weapons. And I thought Okananwa and Fournier just changed the game with their energy for us tonight. And Okananwa, not only offensively but defensively, I thought she helped change us when we were a little lethargic. She kind of got us playing with energy.
Catch you turning it off. You just talked a little bit about, defensively there were some things you were concerned about. And we're now at the time of year of you go from exams, then you come back, you're going to play this weekend, and then you don't play again until January 2nd.
Yeah.
So this is, it's a little bit of a difficult time where, in theory, I guess there's time to practice when you're together, but I don't know how that works. So can you accomplish some of the things you want to do as far as when you get into January to be in a better position on these things you're concerned about?
I think we can. This is a tough time. 10 days with the break, and then exams are hard here, so they're a little drained mentally from that as well. I felt that in practice leading up to this game. So hopefully we can finish out the pre-Christmas break strong against a tough team on the road, and then coming back from Christmas, we're gonna have to dig in. I mean, it's a different level in ACC play. It just is, and every night is difficult, and the road games are next to impossible to win. And we start off with the road game. So they know, most of them know what's coming. That does have me feel a little bit confident in that most of my team is back from last year, so most of them have been through the fire, but it's going to be as competitive as a race, I think, as it's ever been. And we're fortunate enough to be 1-0, but we've got to try to fix those things and get better. And it's an evolution. So, I don't expect in December to be fully formed defensively. I know it's going to take some time. And we're different defensively than we were a year ago. So as a coaching staff, we're still navigating like, hey, what's the best way for us to play? What's the best rotation? What are the best schemes? Because we don't have that 6'6" player, that we've had really since I've been here, manning the paint. So we have to do it a little bit differently, and we'll improve. We'll get better on it.
Coach, I have a couple questions from the Chronicle. Mm-hmm. First one, Oluchi has extended her double-digit scoring streak to 3 consecutive games. How have you seen her develop and refine her game while also maintaining her hustle and high motor?
Well, the hustle and the high motor for Oluchi never stop. It's what she's always had. So we see that every day. Oluchi has worked extremely hard the last 6 months and been very disciplined with her work, very consistent with her work. And she wasn't getting the type of results she hoped for at the start of the year. And that can be frustrating for a player. And the most important thing when a player is not getting the results that they want, but they are putting in the work, is to keep putting in the work, because eventually it will turn in your favor. Eventually you will start to play better. And so her endurance of just staying true to the process, staying true to the work that she was doing, is now coming to fruition. She's now having some of those results that she wanted. So I'm really proud that she stuck in there. She never wavered. She never stopped working extra. She never, when she was not playing as well as she hoped. And then this is part of the reward. And so I'm really proud of her growth, how she's becoming a player that can impact in different categories, and it's great to see.
And then last one, you touched on this earlier, but career high 10 assists for Reagan tonight, and she's upped her overall assist numbers this year. Just how has her facilitating ability impacted your offense?
Yeah, it changes our offense because she's a terrific scorer, but her ability to pass and play make allows us to take advantage when other people pay a lot of attention to her. We have this is probably the best offensive team that I've had since I've been here, if you just look at the numbers. And so Reagan, I think, really trusts the playmakers around her and the scorers around her. Like when she comes off of stuff, she trusts that people are going to be able to finish those things. And I'm just really proud of her growth, because when you talk with players about, hey, here are the things you want them to improve on, and then they go back and they spend months working on it, and then you see that improvement in the game. And one of the things Reagan and I talked about in the offseason about her improving on was her turnover rate. She had a ton more turnovers than assists last year. I think she was like maybe 30 more turnovers than assists last year. And this year she's a positive assist to turnover ratio. That's big. That's substantial improvement, and it's great to see.